All right. And we're back. Welcome to the Daily Traders Podcast. This is episode number 33.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We're moving along here.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Mark. This is my co-host, Jack.
What's up, everybody?
Today, we have a very special guest, Sonny Harris. Welcome to the podcast. Now, Sonny has been trading for 42 years and has published several books on the topic. Okay. Seven
books.
A lot of books. She's very well recognized in the trading space and has been in the game her entire lifetime. So we're really excited to have her. Welcome, Sonny.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So you have
Good
a
to be
podcast
here.
yourself, which is awesome. And the dynamic's always great when, you know, the guest has a podcast or has been on several podcasts. So
Yeah, I've got one called the Sonny Harris Show,
the Sonny Harris Show.
and I interview famous, legendary traders,
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
people that I know in the business and have known for a long time, like Larry Williams and Perry Kaufman and Tim Slater and all the famous folks.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, with the experience that comes along from trading for such a long time yourself and interviewing these traders, is there one specific character trait that you notice in these traders who have been able to stay in the game for so long?
Interestingly, 5 of the people that I've interviewed have been musicians.
no way.
What? Huh.
No, that was their background.
Yeah. Okay.
Piano, violin, composing, different kinds of musicians, and they recognize patterns in charts that way.
Okay.
Wow.
It's like reading a piece of sheet music.
That's really interesting. Like
Very
the
interesting.
transitional coping stuff.
Determination is
Yeah.
the biggest quality that steads you well.
Okay.
You just have to stick with it.
Quick disclaimer, we are not financial advisors. We cannot give any financial advice. Nothing said in this podcast should be taken as financial advice. Full disclaimers is in the description below. We just want to take a second to thank this week's sponsor, thedailytraders.com. Now, if you guys are interested in learning how to trade, and if you want access to see my exact trades, including entries and exits this year in 2023, go ahead, click the first link in the description. We're going to put a discount code right there so you guys can go ahead and join. But with that said, let's get on with the episode.
Well, all right. Speaking of sticking with it, so you started trading what year?
1981.
Wow. Okay. So what initially got you into trading?
Well, that's interesting. I had a software company.
Yeah.
And I retired from it, sold my stock, and retired at 30.
Nice.
And I did what I thought was the smart thing. I gave my money to money managers
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know anything about economics or trading or any investing. I knew nothing about that.
Yep.
So it took them 3 weeks to lose $75,000. And I took my money back and said, I can do that poorly on my own.
Wow.
So I started teaching myself by reading Investors Daily. It was at the time. Now it's Investors Business Daily.
Mhm.
And so I read that and I plotted prices out of the Investors Daily onto a piece of graph paper. And I looked at charts that I made myself.
Yep.
And I just got more and more interested in it. It was a lot of fun.
And how long did it take before you started? We made a joke in the pre-show of this podcast, kind of talking about how people look at trading or might get confused with trading as like a get rich quick. And you said that trading is more of a get poor quick scheme, which is funny.
Get poor quick.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing. So can you walk me through like the process from, you started out not knowing anything, reading books, and then kind of slowly and surely eventually becoming profitable and managing your own money?
Well, actually, I became profitable right away. I did really well in the beginning, which is unusual.
Yeah.
But I was investing in stocks at the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't trading the E-mini yet. There was no E-mini yet. So I was just buying stocks and holding them till I felt that they had gone up appreciably on my chart, and then I would sell them and buy something else.
Okay.
And it worked. It worked well.
Mhm.
The place that I got really, really sucked in, this is my life's avocation, was in 1987 when the market crashed, which was the Dow was around 3,000, I think, at the time, and it crashed 105 points on Friday afternoon, and then on Monday morning it crashed 506 points.
Whoa.
And I had I had predicted that, so I got out of all my stocks in late September before the October crash.
What was
Wow.
indicating that this was going to happen to you?
The charts just speak to me. I just saw it starting to roll over,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and the yield curve was bad, and I just thought this is it. It's gonna crash. When it dropped 105 points on Friday afternoon, I told my stockbroker it's going to drop 500 on Monday, and he said there's no way, no way, and it
Wow.
dropped 506.
Jeez. What stopped you from going short?
I didn't. It was just stocks, and I didn't short stocks back then.
Okay.
I don't think I even yet knew what short was
That's interesting.
What do you
because I was
think?
just buying stocks.
Okay. So when did you get into like options trading? So let's talk about what you do now.
So I don't think you don't trade
Because
options.
I actually have no
I
idea.
do not trade options. It's
Okay.
against my religion.
Okay. Can you explain why? Because I'm super curious, as that's
Sure.
what I do.
Yeah, I traded options for about 2 years,
Okay.
early on, very early on,
Yep.
and I found that they always tell you it's limited risk. You buy $2,000 worth, and that's all. That's the limit of your risk. You can only lose 2,000. Well, I was very successful at losing that 2,000 over and over again.
Yeah.
There
So
you go.
I quickly
That's fair.
decided that that's not why I'm in this game,
Yep.
not to lose money. So I haven't traded options since then.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so you kind of found your edge. So you went from trading equities and then tried options, and now you trade the E-mini.
I trade the E-mini now, but I started out trading the big boy, which was the SP contract.
Yep.
Okay.
And it was what, $50,000 margin at the time, and it was very expensive. It was
Yeah.
$500 a point, whereas the E-mini's $50 a point.
Mhm.
So that's what I was doing for a long time until the E-mini came into being. Let's see, so the S&P was 82, the E-mini was 90 something. I don't remember when it started.
Wow. Okay.
But
So you've been through a lot
I
of.
switched to the E-mini then.
Okay. And so I've never traded the E-mini. You have.
Yeah.
I'm strictly options, which is it's really
Oh, are
interesting.
you really?
Yeah, that's all I've done. I mean, I used to trade stocks, and since 2018, I've just been strictly options. But
Oh,
everyone
that's cool.
finds
You can do it.
yeah, everyone finds their own thing, and
Mhm.
so you've been through a lot of market cycles, and you
Mhm.
were saying in the pre-show, like, if you haven't been through one of these market crashes, you haven't learned how to trade. You don't know how to trade. What are
If
some
you haven't
takeaways?
traded in a recession or a bear market, you really don't know how to
Don't know
trade.
Okay.
Why do you say that?
Well, I had a person who's now a student come to me and say they'd lost $1.2 million because they continued to trade into the bear market as they had been trading in the bull market.
Yeah.
You just buy and wait.
Yeah.
But as it goes down, you lose more and more and more. So you've got to learn how to trade short.
Mhm.
If you can't trade short
Yeah.
through a bear market, then you really don't know what to do when you're in a bear market, and you'll lose all your money.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting. What is because obviously you talked about getting out of the bear market before it crashed in 1987, and you were
Mhm.
looking at the yield curve. What do you think about now? Because I hear a lot of economic talk about inflation being high, job loss. It's like this
Mhm.
kind of looming recession. Big banks are
Mhm.
letting off employees. What do you think about the economic, like the market we're in right now?
Well, if we continue with laying off people, we're going to definitely be in a recession. If that continues, or if it gets worse, then we're definitely going to be in a recession. But to my mind, we've been in a bear market for quite some time, since late 21.
Yep.
And we're having bear market rallies over and over
Mm-hmm.
that catch people, and we're having short covering that catches people. But I still think we're in a bear market.
Okay. Interesting perspective. So, all right. So, given that we're in a bear, or you think we're in a bear market, do you have like some type of routine when you go in to the beginning of the day when you trade?
I drink a cup of coffee. I don't trade the open.
Oh, okay.
I wait for a half an hour to see what happens, because the open of and I trade 5-minute charts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really fast, and I don't need to have an opinion about whether the market's going up or down. It goes up and down every day, several times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just sit down and watch the chart.
Mm-hmm.
You want to break down your kind of trading strategy? Just very broadly.
I don't take my eyes off the chart. That's how I concentrate. I do a live trading room on Tuesday mornings
Mhm.
Yep.
at 7 a.m. California time for an hour.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that people have said that they notice that I am totally focused on the chart while I'm trading it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, I just watch it. And I
Yeah.
have an indicator that I call Sunny Bands
Mhm.
Okay.
that I use for all my trading. And I've been using it for 36 years out of the 42. So I invented it 38 years ago and perfected it and then have been using that ever since.
Whoa.
And it's real easy to trade. The market goes down to the bottom band and back up to the top band most of the time.
That's
So
it.
you just play the levels.
I play the levels. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Very straightforward.
And that indicator has played true throughout its entire lifetime, because it's
Yeah.
pretty common that you make an indicator, find an edge, and then eventually it gets
Exactly.
figured out.
Yeah, it
Or
gets crushed.
is that why you haven't released it? You want to like keep it for yourself?
Yep.
Really? So you
It's
don't.
my trading tool.
Okay, that's interesting.
Very cool.
So do you create your other own trading tools?
Yeah, I'm a programmer. In addition to being a mathematician, I also program. So I create whatever I need. I program it for
What are some
TradeStation. I
what are,
use TradeStation.
what are some other programs that you have that you've made?
Well, I have Sunny Bands. I have a dynamic moving average that recalculates itself. So it doesn't have inputs like most moving averages.
Mhm.
It calculates its own inputs based on the speed of the market. So the moving average doesn't whipsaw like most moving averages. They'll go back and forth and give you long and short signals and really mess you up when the market's choppy.
Yep.
This one calculates its own inputs, and that's why I call it dynamic, because it dynamically changes its input values.
How did you make it? Can you tell us how you made it dynamic? Like what inputs or what mathematical
Without
theories?
giving away.
Yeah, without giving away.
Without
the
giving
secret
away
sauce.
the-
I
Giving
can't
away
give away
everything.
the secret sauce.
No, of course not. Of course not.
That's stuff that I worked on when I was doing my master's thesis in math.
That's wildly fascinating. So did you go to? I'm assuming you went to college. Where did you go?
Oh yeah, I went to lots of college.
Okay.
I went to San Jose State.
San Jose State.
Yeah, I was a poor kid. I grew up poor in Appalachia, and so I came to California when I was 18, and
Wow.
I was determined to go to college, and so I just went to the state school where I could afford it.
Do you think people need to be good at math to be good at trading?
No,
Okay.
they need to be good at logic.
At logic.
I like
You need
that.
to be a very logical person, in my opinion,
Mhm.
but you don't have to be good at math unless you want to do a bunch of really fancy programming like I did.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. So you want to talk about? Could we talk about how much you're trading with now, or maybe even the progression from where you started to how you got to what you're trading with now, as far as capital?
Well, I started out with a lot of capital.
Okay.
Because I retired and sold my share of the company, and I had millions of dollars
Mhm.
at age 30.
Yeah.
So I've been trading with that and just growing it ever since.
You said also, I keep referencing the pre-show because again, we like talking before we start, just to get the dynamic going. And you said you don't look at your P&L anymore. Can
I
you
don't.
explain?
I don't. I used to keep real careful track of it and look at what percentage I was making and what my average trade was and all the statistics.
Mhm.
But I don't do that anymore. I just once in a while look at how much is in the account and how much can I spend, and that's really it. I don't pay attention to statistics anymore.
Wow.
They don't matter. After 42 years, they don't matter.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of just trade for fun at this point.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, so you just
it's a
genuinely
lot of fun.
enjoy trading?
I absolutely love it.
Do you think
I love it.
Do you think you have to enjoy trading in order to be good at it?
Larry Williams in my podcast interview of him said, you need to find, people say, find your passion and follow it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He says, find what you're really good at and make it your passion.
Okay.
There's a different bent on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really good at it and I'm passionate about it and I just keep doing it. Somebody asked me, when are you going to retire, Sonny? I said, when I drop dead at this desk. That's it. I love what I do.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And I love working.
Do you think that's typical for a lot of traders who started when you started? Do you think a lot of them, do they all eventually retire? Or do they kind of just keep going until they fall flat on their desk?
Well, Larry Williams is going to fall flat on his desk. He's 80. He's 80. He told me,
Wow.
did you know that 80 is the new 79, Sonny? Yep, that's right. But many of the people that I've interviewed have already retired.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. I always say I don't think I'll ever retire. Just 'cause I don't know.
No,
I
I'm never
love
going to
working.
retire.
No way. All right. I have to
When
ask.
When I was 30 and first retired,
Yeah.
I sort of did nothing for 9 months. I read books and I traveled and I just really didn't work.
Mhm.
And I found it very boring.
Yeah.
So that's when I went right back to work because I retired in 80 and started trading in 81.
I mean, that's crazy to be able to retire at 30.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
It's
Wow.
so fun. Well, it's a cool origin story. Like you started, you really didn't have much as a kid. You mind talking about like the struggles? I think it's really one of the reasons we love trading as an industry is there really isn't a high barrier to entry. Like
It's a low barrier.
is.
sorry, there isn't a high barrier. It's a low barrier.
Mhm.
Like it's pretty easy to pick up a trading book. Nowadays, you can open a brokerage for free,
Mhm.
whether it's TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, Webull,
Mm-hmm.
TradeStation, whatever, and just start
and
trading.
commissions are free.
Yeah, and commissions are free, and you can trade with a small amount of capital. So it's really cool that you don't have to have crazy origins to become good at trading. So do you want to talk about maybe your upbringing and your story is different because you were already successful when you started trading, but you weren't successful from the get-go. So did you?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the three of us kids slept in one bed in a little two-bedroom apartment. We didn't really have much of anything.
Mhm.
And my grandparents lived on a farm and we had an outhouse and chickens and pigs and that sort of thing in the mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah. Wow.
One rooster that would chase you all around the barnyard.
Yeah. So did you have like
Cows.
a role model or motivation for someone? Like what inspired you to, pursue getting a high level mathematics degrees, being partners in a was it a tech company?
Software, yeah.
Software company. Like what inspired you
Mhm.
to just, change your path?
Well, there's two things. My father was a very smart man.
Yeah.
He wasn't college educated, but he was a very intelligent person.
Mhm.
And he inspired all three of us kids to do great things. He would always say to us, you can do anything that you can imagine. Anything you want to do, you can do.
Hmm.
And that inspired all three of us. My brother's an electrical engineer. My sister's an architect. So we all
Wow.
aspired to do great things. And most of my cousins are not college educated. But in addition to following in my dad's footsteps, intelligence-wise, I wanted to get out of Appalachia.
Yeah.
So I knew education was the way to get out of there.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, they go into school, with no direction, not knowing what they want to do in life, or they take a, gap year to try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice for, people thinking like, oh, should I go to college? Should I not go to college? I don't know what I want to do in life. Trying to find some direction.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to be inspired or you'll get in there and waste your time.
Yeah.
So unless you're passionate, do something you're passionate about. Don't go to college just because your parents told you have to.
Yeah.
Go because you want to make something of yourself. When I was in high school, they asked me what I wanted to do when I grow up, and I said, be rich and eccentric. So that was my answer to that.
I
But
love
then I
that.
went to the counseling office.
Yeah.
And we pulled out all these files of, aptitude tests and what different professions do. And I said, what's the easiest degree I can get the fastest and make the most money? And we settled on engineering or mathematics. And I said, well, I've gotten all A's in math. I'll just do math.
Wow.
And I finished my first degree in 3 years.
That's neat. What's cool? It
I mean,
translated to trading.
I just drove right through it.
Yeah.
Wow. So when it comes to your trading today, are you still trying to improve your strategies? I mean, trading is an ever-changing thing. Obviously, you have your indicator that has held true through the cycles, but what are you doing right now to continue pushing yourself, pushing your limits in the market?
I print out my charts every single night still after all these years, and I look to see, did I do what the market did? Did I follow the real changes in trend? The S&P typically has 3 to 5 moves a day, up, down, up, down. It's a rare day that just goes up or just goes down. So I want to be sure that I caught those moves, and I've got another indicator I call PHW, which stands for potential hourly wage.
Yeah.
And it puts yellow dots on the perfect turning points. So I'm looking at those yellow dots. Did I do what the market did? And I study it every night. And I'm always trying to improve my concentration and to improve my reading of the market.
Okay. And
the market changes with time. It always goes up and it always goes down. It always goes sideways. But it moves in different percentages now than it used to. We have a lot larger moves than we used to have, and it moves a lot faster.
Okay.
All right. So it's fair to say for a beginner trader, it's wildly important to document your trades and look back.
Absolutely.
Is that something
not only as a beginner, I'm still doing it after 42 years.
Perfect example. So let's go. All right, let's go back to the beginner trader, because a lot of our audience are beginner traders. They might have $500 in a TD Ameritrader account, or they're in college and they're trying, and they found the trading, they like it, they're passionate. Like, what is the next step? What do they have to do day in and day out in order to improve and take it to the next level?
Read. You see the books behind me?
I wanted to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my trading library. There's not a single novel in there. That's all trading library stuff.
Wow.
And I've got 746 books behind me, all of which I've read.
Wow. Wait, is that not a green screen?
No, that's real. You thought that was a green screen?
It's not a green screen. That's my bookshelf.
Oh, I thought it was like one of those background things you
Zoom,
can do.
No,
cutting
you
it
did
out.
not. Oh my god.
It's real. It's live.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's really fun. Well, that's cool.
That's impressive. I was gonna ask, is that just in your house?
Yeah, it's in my office.
Nice.
Wow.
That's neat.
I've got a whole wall of them. And I'm reading a new one right now. It's called The Best Loser Wins. So that'll be 747.
Wow. That's cool. Well, pretty organized. Keep track. Okay, so
and I am an organized person. I have a database of all my books, so I know what I've read, and I review them for myself and keep track of, who wants to read the same book again.
Well, it's really neat.
Right. It's so cool. We hope you guys are enjoying this episode so far. I want to take a second again to thank this week's sponsor, thedailytraders.com. Now, if you guys are interested in seeing my exact trades in the stock market, including entries and exits, I will put a link in the description below with a discount code to join my mentorship group. You're going to get access to my exact trading system, where you're able to learn the lifelong skill of trading, while at the same time having access to see all of my trades with 100% transparency. So again, the link is in the description, and we hope you guys are enjoying this episode. Let's continue.
This might be an impossible question to answer, but if you could pick like 3 books for someone to start out reading and trading, like what are the 3 books that you recommend?
The first book I recommend to anybody is John Murphy's Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets.
Okay.
I have 3 copies of that. When I first bought it, I remember paying $50 for it and thinking, oh my gosh, I hope this thing's worth it. That's a really, in 1980s, that was an expensive book.
Yeah.
And so I ended up highlighting almost the entire book and had to get another one so that I could read it and highlight again, just picking out the more salient points this time. And the third one I bought because I was at a conference and John Murphy was there, and I sat and had lunch with him, and I bought another copy so he'd autograph it for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go read that book now. So what's the second book?
Pick any one of Larry Williams' books.
Larry Williams. Okay.
Okay.
And then pick one of Jake Bernstein's books. He's written 40 some books.
Okay.
Wow.
What are the main gist of Larry Williams' books?
He tells you his trading methods.
Yeah.
He he doesn't give you the programming code, but he definitely tells you exactly how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And he's very realistic about his approach to the markets, and he sees patterns.
Yep.
I mean, he sees patterns in bars, but he does trade day charts. He doesn't trade intraday like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
He's a very good writer, and
Yeah.
he also wrote a book. I talked to him about can't remember the name of it now, but anyway, he was doing some looking for Noah's Ark, and is pretty sure that he found it.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right. So you have your trading strategy, and it's an algorithm and the indicators. It sounds straightforward enough where you could program it into a trading bot. Have you done that?
I'm working on it.
And it trades for you.
Haven't
Very cool.
finished it yet because I have found that it's really hard to program the things that I feel about the market.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can tell it what the rules are, but then I'll see it execute the rules, and I'll say, well, that's not what I would have done.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be able to put more into it, because everything doesn't fit into an equation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about the current state of AI with ChatGPT and all of that, and how you might think that falls into trading from your perspective at all, if you know much about it.
I don't know a lot about it, but
Okay.
I do know that there's a lot of it going on.
Yeah.
And people are always working on programming it, but you know, the Tesla cars aren't fully self-driving yet, so
Right.
it's hard to program an AI that actually works.
Yeah, and especially for trading, you know, it can write an
Mhm.
essay for you, but it's going to be the same as someone else's, you know,
Right.
at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah,
But the essays that they write only get B minuses,
exactly. Yeah.
That's
and
interesting.
that's not sufficient for me.
Yeah. Have you seen all of those sort of articles coming out in the news of, you know,
Mhm.
15%, 20% of students used AI past semester
No way.
to assist in their writing?
Really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
most of them said assist and not.
Wharton School of Business. Even.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
I have
I-
seen those.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't know that.
it's definitely going to challenge the scope of plagiarism in schools and all of that.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, it really just at the end of the day it discounts your
Well, I
actual
think you need
education.
that's not your education; it's the machine's education at that point.
Yeah, you're really just
And
undercutting
then when it
yourself.
comes, you know, if you cheat on your test, when it comes to actually doing it in real life, you'll fail.
Exactly.
Yeah. True.
So that's not good.
Mm-hmm. So
You know, there used to be a lot of cheaters when I was in school, and I had really long hair. My hair was 4 feet long, and I would just lean forward and drape it down in front of me so nobody could see my paper.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I have a question. So you've always traded your own capital, I assume, since you started.
Yes.
Have you ever
I did at
considered-
one point have a hedge fund,
Okay.
and I found out that I did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much, but a lot the first year,
Yeah.
which was 1999. And then in 2000, when the .com bubble burst, I lost 11%. The market itself lost 70 or 67 or 68%.
yeah, I was gonna say it's
So
not
I
that.
did well considering,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but everybody's calling me up and wanting to know why I lost money, and you know, all these questions every single day.
Yeah.
And I can't trade if you're going to be constantly analyzing everything I do. That influence. It's like watching the news. That really influences my ability to trade. So I don't watch news either.
I don't
I don't
either.
listen
Yeah.
to the news. I don't watch it. I don't want to know what it is.
Yeah. So you're 100% then technical.
Technical. I'm all technical.
Yeah, that's me too. And
Yeah.
I mean, even part of what I do is like I post all my trades just when I'm getting in an option contract and then when I'm exiting. And like for me, like in the beginning, that really was a mental, like a barrier I had to like overcome, because it's like, oh, I know everyone's watching. People, you know, I again, like I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have any like licenses. I'm just purely sharing what I'm doing in our group. And it's like, if people do get in on the same trades as me, that's this pressure. And I don't know, I've over time just become like, been able to cope with that, deal with that, and not let it affect my trading. But I've thought about in the future, like getting my Series 3 or Series 7, and I don't know, maybe starting a hedge fund. We spoke with a CEO of a hedge fund. He has his own hedge fund yesterday, actually, and it's a fascinating thing, and I it's interesting to hear your perspective on that. And you haven't thought, since 2000 that you might want to give it another shot and,
I
take
don't
on some
like
more
it.
capital? You just don't like it.
It doesn't bring me joy,
Okay.
and trading does.
And trading
Mhm.
does.
But the constant accounting of trades and the constant accounting of net profit and percentages and the constant reporting every day so people can look at their accounts live,
Yeah.
I just don't like that part of it.
Okay.
I
You-
really do like trading, though.
Okay. Yeah, it's a passion. And it's like, I feel like,
Mhm.
I'm super passionate about it. I love trading. Like, I'm
Yeah.
excited to go trade after this. And talking with other traders makes me even more excited about it.
Right.
It's really,
right.
I hope everyone else listening is getting that same feeling. You want to talk about like kind of risk management a bit, very broadly, generally. What do you do as far as, managing risk when it comes day to day in your own trading?
In my live trading room the other day, somebody said, "Where are your stops?"
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't answer the question. He chatted it, and then he emailed me later and said, "Where are your?" I thought to ask you, "Where are your stops?" But I realized you're watching sunny bands, and every time it goes against you on the sunny bands, you're out. And he said, "You've got your finger on the trigger," and that's exactly right.
Okay.
I don't have stops in the market,
Wow.
and
Okay.
I don't recommend that to people because I think a lot of people will emotionally override their stops if they don't have them in the market.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. When it comes to the dynamic moving average, if it's going the wrong direction, I'm out of there.
You're out.
I just push the button. Loss or no loss, it doesn't matter. To me, it's really important to execute the calls that the software calls for.
Okay.
Execute the trades that the software calls for.
So
Okay.
do you market sell when you're wrong, or buy if you're short?
No, there's a bid and ask button on TradeStation that I use there.
Okay,
Quick
so
trading.
it just joins the bid or the ask.
Yeah, it joins the bid or the ask. So it says, it's either take or hit.
Okay, nice.
Okay. Interesting.
So to buy, I take the ask.
Okay.
To sell, I
uh,
hit the bid.
That's interesting. Okay. So your strategy and all this stuff you're saying is like, I feel like everyone's they believe in their strategy. You have to believe in your strategy and your system, and you can't second guess it. And you're just,
Yes.
you can't any second guessing yourself. You're that's it. It's over. You're done.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice if you second guess it.
Yeah. How did you get the confidence or how did you build up the confidence in your strategy? Is that just a numbers game? Just doing it enough?
Testing and testing and testing.
Yeah.
I spent 18 months, 18-hour days, 7 days a week. I have 7 bankers boxes full of research where I just tested the heck
Wow.
out of what I thought would work. And then I would find it would fail at something, and then I would test something else. And, it was just a lot of research to come up with my dynamic moving average
Mm-hmm.
and the sunny bands. It was just lots of research.
I bet. I mean, can you say how many hours you put in again? 18 hours. Were you actually putting in 18-hour days? That's wild.
I was putting out 18-hour days, 7 days a week for 18 months.
Okay, so I think it's fair to say that you really didn't have any balance in your life. It was work.
Yeah, I don't normally, I still work 14-hour days. I love to work.
It's good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel alive.
Yeah, I bet.
That's amazing. And you said you have 4 kids, right?
Well, I had 2 of my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, when her children were very small, came to me and said, "I'm not built to be a mother. Will you take these 2 kids?" So then I raised her 2 kids from infants.
Whoa.
So I've raised 4 children.
Wow.
Oh, do any of them trade?
No.
That's a good question.
No.
This is interesting. So I obviously, everyone in my family, friends, everyone knows I trade, and they're always asking me for questions, help.
Where's the market going next?
Where's the market going?
What should I buy? What should I sell?
Oh my God, yeah. And I'm sure you get that a lot. Have you had family members asking you to teach them, and have you taught them?
They haven't ever asked me to teach them.
Really?
A real good friend of mine has a grandson who's 10. He asked me to teach him.
Oh,
I
nice.
told him when he was 12, I would teach him.
Why 12?
Because I think he'll be able to sit still long enough and concentrate by that age.
Okay.
Right now, he's still too wiggly.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point. So no one else has access to the Sunny Bands but you?
Oh, I sell licenses to it. Sure.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's available.
That's interesting.
It's the code's locked. You can't see the code for it,
Yeah.
but you can use the indicators certainly.
Nice.
Wow. So there is like, would you consider this is like a black box then, a black box
Mhm.
strategy? I had heard
It's not a strategy. It's an indicator.
black box indicator. Okay.
Mhm.
And I've
And then
heard from people that's not
Then I
even a
teach
thing
you how to
anymore.
use it for free.
Okay. Okay. This is
I
wild.
teach you how I use it.
Okay. All right. So if someone had it, do you think they'd be able to correctly trade and be profitable without you teaching them how to use it?
Well, I can't guarantee that anyone will be profitable,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a section on my website called Quips and Quotes, and I just report everything that people email me about my software or my services or what mentoring or
Mhm.
anything they email me.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool.
I've got a guy that he started using Sunny Bands 5 or 6 weeks ago on trial. I do give a 7-day free trial. So he started using it, and the first week he made $11,000.
Nice.
And he said, "This is insane." That's what he emailed me. "This is insane. If it even made a tenth of this, it would be insane."
Yeah.
I feel like it's like such a rewarding thing seeing, people like either posting their profits, thanking you. Like I just closed a Tesla trade I had on yesterday. It wasn't a huge trade. It was like 15% profit. And I'm like, hey, anyone, get in on the trade and make money. And then you see all the screenshots of profits coming in. And it's such a, like when
It's
you realize,
rewarding.
it's so rewarding. When you realize you
Mhm.
can like help people like directly or indirectly make money, it's just such a great feeling. It really
So
is.
this guy who told me about the indicator being insane,
Mm-hmm.
he texted me or emailed me yesterday and said, "I had my best day so far. I made 10 grand today."
Nice.
Wow. So can
And
we,
that's, like you say, that's really rewarding. There's
It
nothing
is.
that makes me happier than having people do really well.
yeah, no, for real. Can we talk about your maybe best day trading if you're comfortable talking about that?
Yeah. I like to say that 1987 crash was my best day because
Okay.
I avoided $1 million loss that day.
Yeah.
If I'd known how to be short, I would have made $1 million, but
Wow.
I didn't know how to be short yet. But I did avoid $1 million loss. So
Wow.
that
Okay.
was kind of exciting. And then on Tuesday of that week, I called my broker and said, "Buy everything you can get your hands on."
Wow.
And it just went up from there.
Okay.
So that was probably my biggest day. My worst day was on the words when James Baker was talking about the war in Iraq, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I regret," and the market tumbled, and I lost $13,000 in 2 minutes.
Mhm.
Wow.
So that's been my worst day.
Only 13,000 though?
Yeah, it's not. I've heard.
It's not that bad.
Yeah,
No.
no, it's not bad at all. I've heard traders, with way to probably trade way more than you, and they've lost. Like one of the guys we had on lost like $30,000, and he wasn't a huge.
Oh my
trader.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you like average so you're trading every day, I'm assuming 5 days a week pretty much. You're always
Yeah.
active. Do you take days off?
Yeah, if I want to go somewhere, and
Interesting.
I call it go somewhere, see something.
Yeah.
I like to travel and take photographs.
Nice.
So if I want to go, I just close it down and start back when I get back.
What are some like goals you have as far as, again, just if you're comfortable sharing, because I know everyone loves hearing about money. It's a very motivating thing. And it's like, yeah, it's trading seems very unachievable for some. And so
Mhm.
hearing someone else have success, it's motivational. What do you shoot for in like a day?
I shoot for $2,000 a day.
2,000 a day. Okay.
Yeah,
Very
that's
consistent.
500,000 a year. So
Okay.
that's adequate. There's nothing.
And as far as
That's
like,
enough to spend.
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, $500,000 a year. Plenty. What's the percentage on that? What's 2,000? What's that equate to in percentage of what your capital is?
That's a good question. I don't even know.
Okay, so you're just because you don't look at your
I don't look
Account
at
statements.
I don't look at the total in the account.
I really hope to get to that point one day. That's where I just don't look. When did you get there?
Well,
Was this in the last couple of years, or was this 10 years ago?
oh, more than 10 years ago.
Okay.
I don't even balance my checkbook. When the bank calls and says you're overdrawn, that's when I put more money in.
Okay. So you keep a lot of money then just in your trading account.
Yeah,
And you just trade freely with it and cash out when you want.
right.
Okay. Wow. Maybe a couple of
Well,
psychology tips.
You know what I think
Hmm.
the psychology of trading is?
What?
Follow your damn system.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's
For a lot of
straightforward.
but for a lot of traders when they start out, it's hard. Like I remember really struggling. I'd say this, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna move my stop a little lower, and then it would hit the stop, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna move it a little lower. Like, how do you combat that as a beginner trader?
If you haven't tested your system, it's because you don't want to know the answer. So you've got to have a system in place before you start trading, not after you've
Mhm.
lost a bunch of money.
Yeah.
You need to have a system to start with. So while I was developing my system, I spent a year and a half just watching the market trade.
Wow.
All right, so step one is read as many books as you can about trading,
Mm-hmm.
and
Read
then
the books,
with all those
develop
books,
rules, develop a set of strict rules,
okay,
and then follow the rules.
okay, and then that's step 3 is follow the rules.
That's pretty.
And that-
Now, actually, you know what? Step 3 is test them. So you got to develop your rules, and then you have to test them.
Okay, that's interesting. So all right, so you're almost saying that trading psychology is almost inadequate because if you have a strategy that you back test and you're confident in, you're not going to have any psychological errors when it comes to exiting a trade because you have confidence in that system.
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I would say her sunny band strategy indicator kind of goes with that sort of notion.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
about the like psychological aspect of losing money? Because like beginners start out with not a lot of money, and it's like you said, it's super.
Well, the other thing is when they start out without much money, if you have $500 in your account
Mhm.
and you make 100% a year, that's a really good year, right? 100%.
Mhm.
That means now you have $1,000.
Yep.
Next year you make another 100%. Now you have $2,000. It's going to take a while to build up to $1 million.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But people just have this feeling that they're going to get in and make $1 million overnight.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Mhm. Okay.
You know how to make $1 million in the market? Start out with 2 million.
That's a
Right?
good one. I like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So growing a small account, do you have any suggestions for, say, someone starting with? I feel like a good amount of people start with not a good amount, $5,000 to $10,000. Right now, I'm doing a $10,000 account challenge, and I'm growing that account. So any suggestions for people trying to grow a $10,000 account as far as like just anything like risk management, psychology, system strategy, edge?
I would suggest that not only that you follow your system strictly, but if you lose more money than your system called for you to lose, if the drawdown's worse than it was predicted by your tests, stop.
Yeah.
Regroup, retest your hypotheses, figure out what went wrong, or was it you not taking the stops that you were supposed to, or not taking the trades that you were supposed to?
Yeah.
Or was it the system? If it's the system, you've got to rework it. So just pull out for a while. Don't think, oh my gosh, I got to trade this back. Revenge trading never works.
Okay, so how do you backtest your strategies? Do you have like a software that you do that on, or is it simply just taking pictures of the charts after the market closes? This is what my strategy predicted. This is what actually happened, and making mental and even physical notes of that.
Both.
I
mean, I started out before there was software. So I was doing all my testing in spreadsheets.
Okay.
And then after System Writer came on the horizon, then I started using System Writer by Omega Research, which became TradeStation, and they changed the company name to TradeStation.
Oh, wow.
So I program TradeStation to test strategies.
That's neat.
Okay.
Look at that.
And they have They have a coding language called Easy Language,
Yep.
and it actually is easy to program in.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Neat. Okay.
And then what other then do they have more advanced languages?
They do. They have an object-oriented language,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm writing my current book on.
Okay.
Is the OOEL, Object-Oriented Easy Language.
So teaching people how to use that and create their own strategies.
Correct.
That's interesting.
Very cool.
Well, cool. So where can people find you?
Moneymentor.com.
Moneymentor.com. Any social medias that you want people to follow, check you out on?
No, I don't really keep up with them.
Yeah.
It's too much work.
Fair
But
enough.
at the top of Money Mentor, it's my phone number and my email address.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to can give me a call.
Okay. Wow. That's very generous of you.
Wow.
We'll put that in the
Yeah,
description.
and I actually answer the phone.
That's
Wow.
neat.
Unless I'm on the phone or on a podcast or
Yeah.
Zoom call or
Well, I'm
something.
sure
I'll answer my own phone.
That's really awesome.
We might not want to blow up your phone, but
Yeah, I'm sure some aspiring traders will be giving you a call if you let us put that in.
In Chat with Traders, I gave my phone number.
wow.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got lots of phone calls and loved it.
I'm
That's
Wow.
awesome. Wow. Good
I
for you.
really-
Is
hang
there
on.
anything you want to end on? Any quotes?
I really like her. I like
Yeah.
this at the top of your website. The education is not expensive. Lack of education is. I really like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's at the top here.
That was a good quote.
should
but
look at
but
it,
is there
yeah.
anything you'd like to end off on?
Are we recording?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd like to. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes that I found in a book I was reading a few days ago, and it says, "Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might."
Awesome. I like that.
like
Yeah,
that.
that's not just trading. That's everything.
That's life. Yeah,
Everything, whatever you do it with all your might.
that's a good
That's
verse.
fantastic.
All right, well, that's going to conclude this episode. We hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on, Sunny. Again, the link will be in the description
Thank
to
you.
Sunny's website. So thank you all, and we'll see you in the next one.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.